Now, members, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 227, this petition therefore stands committed to the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation for consideration. As you are aware, that the Computer and Cyber Crimes Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2017, was read for the first time on 10th of October 2017. I therefore wish to guide that the same committee considers the prayer sought by the petitioners alongside the bill. Thank you. Just to notify members that members will be at liberty to comment, but if I don't see anybody desirous of commenting on that, we proceed to the next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Leader of the majority.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, February 15, 2018. Number 1, sessional paper number 3 of 2016 on national housing policy from the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. 2, the performance report of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, for the period covering January to June 2017. 3, the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year that ended 30th June 2017 and the certificate therein. A, Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation. B, Capital Market Authority. And C, Geothermal Development Company Limited. Number 4, the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year that ended 30th June 2016 and the certificate therein. And the institutions are A, Masai Mara University, Kenya National Highway Authority, Kenya Railways Corporation, and Kenya Revenue Authority. Number 5, report of the Auditor General on the financial statements in respect of the following constituencies for the year that ended 30th June 2016 and the certificate therein. Langata constituency, Mandera North constituency, Masinga constituency, Embakasi North constituency, Dagaroti South constituency, Nakuru Town East constituency, Moala constituency, Madare constituency, Molo constituency, Embakasi South constituency, and Kasipul constituency.
Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion with the following motions: that this House adopt sessional paper number 3 of 2017 on the national policy on climate finance laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 13th, 2017.
Next. Next.
Order number 7, statements.
Leader.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, subsection 2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee. The committee met this week at the rise of the House to give priority for business that will be considered next week. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I wish to officially welcome members back from the long recess. It's important for members to know that our in tray is full. The budget process is about to begin, and it will entail a review of the budget policy statement, the Division of Revenue Bill 2018, and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2018. The committees will also be conducting the vetting of nominees to the office of the principal secretaries, ambassadors, and high commissioners. And these are some of the key business that ought to be undertaken by 30th April 2018 before the receipt of the budget estimates from the National Treasury. On Tuesday next week, we shall consider the second reading of the following bills. The Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority Bill 2017, the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill number 2 of 2017, the Kenya Roads Bill 2017, the Computer and Cyber Crimes Bill 2017, and the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill number 3 of 2017. Through you, Mr. Speaker, I urge all chairpersons of departmental committees to expedite consideration of the mentioned bills and table the reports to enable members to acquaint themselves with the content of the bill before the debate. In the same week, Mr. Speaker, we hope to finalize on the motion on appointment of members to the Parliamentary Service Commission once my colleagues from the minority party have nominated members to represent them in the commission. Otherwise, we will seek your indulgence to proceed without their names, the same way we did for the committee of the House Business Committee. And I wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Just, of course, to observe that the leader of the minority party, the Honorable John Bandi, did write to me requesting that I allow him and his sign of the coalition until Monday next week, so that I believe then we will proceed with the matter. Is that correct, Honorable Bandi?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are actually correct that we have consulted within the NASA coalition, and we have agreed that by Monday you'll get a letter from my office nominating 3 nominees to the Parliamentary Service Commission from the NASA coalition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Before we proceed, let me recognize the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of pupils from Jogune Primary School, boarding primary school from Imenti South constituency, Meru County. You are welcome. Next order.
Order number 8, the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2017, second reading.
Leader of the majority party.
Speaker, I really want to indulge you that I'll be very happy if the committee deals with this bill first and then bring a report to the House so that we discuss it more better.
Who's the chair? The member for Pokot South. Does he have a vice chair? Who's the vice chair in that committee? Surely, honour members, I think members of that committee, all members of that committee, please take note that debate on this motion, this bill, is being stood down for the simple reason that the committee has not tabled a report. But very soon we will begin to insist that committees have to submit their reports within the stipulated times to allow the House transact business. Move to the next one.
Order number 9, the statute law miscellaneous amendment number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2017, second reading.
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, similarly, this bill is before the Legal Affairs Committee, and they have not brought a report, so I want the chair to, and I really wanted to start the debate when the report has been tabled. And this is because I want to set a new standard in the 12th Parliament that committees must comply with the timeline set up in the standing orders.
So which committee is this?
Legal.
Justice and Legal Affairs. The Honorable Cheptumo and team. Similarly, stood down. Next order.
Order number 10, the Kenya Roads Bill, National Assembly Bill number 47 of 2017, second reading.
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, again, I spoke to the chair yesterday, and I told him as I read the position of the bill, he's supposed to second this bill and give the stakeholders' view. And now that he's not here, Mr. Speaker, to set the 12th Parliament not to follow the President of the old Parliament, chairs must be here to second bills when they're coming afresh. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this one also are not ready until the chair is ready to second.
Leader of the Minority Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with the Leader of Majority that truly we must set standards in this Parliament. I think this is a requirement in our standing orders that have been ignored for a long time, because it's very clear that we cannot transact or deliberate on a bill through the second reading unless we have the report from the committee. And in fact, there is already we have given indulgence to committees by saying if you are not ready, what you need to do is just to bring a report saying you need progress report, saying you need more time. So I don't know why chairs are behaving like they don't read the standing orders. And most importantly, people fight for these leadership positions. And when you get the leadership positions, you need to demonstrate that you are up to the task. But finally, Mr. Speaker, the committees came into place, I think, in December. And we have had the whole of January and now part of February, and committees cannot tell us that they are not ready with the bills, and there are not so many per committee. So the committees, Mr. Speaker, I think we will have to reprimand these committees and chairs, and if need be, that could form we may even amend our standing orders that a committee that is not going to consistently follow the requirement of standing orders, then there will either be change of leadership of that committee, or we even overhaul the entire committee if they can't deliver. Because now it appears we will adjourn early, Mr. Speaker, simply because we cannot transact business courtesy of the failure by committees to live to the spirit, latent spirit of the standing orders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're absolutely right. Member for Yatta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
He's also on a point of order. Don't shout. I don't want to hear. Members who have that habit, who cannot keep their mouth shut when they are still seated, will find it very difficult catching my eye.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, looking at the order paper for next week, it's very obvious we'll also not have any business until Tuesday. And Mr. Speaker, as the leader of minority has said, I think my request is for the House Business Committee, because members of Parliament are very busy people. Rather than keep us in Nairobi doing nothing, if this House has no business, we adjourn even if it's for another 1 week, so that, Mr. Speaker, you can go back and revisit the constituency, rather than keep on postponing bills when they're on the second reading, bill after bill. I'm aware, Mr. Speaker, most of these chairmen are very new. But surely, Mr. Speaker, they are expected to be very smart. By now, Mr. Speaker, they should have been able to have gone through these bills and tabled a report. So, Mr. Speaker, my appeal to the chair, Mr. Speaker, and the House Business Committee is if there's no business for this House, we adjourn for another 1 week or 2 weeks.
Member for Kisumu West.
Mr. Speaker, what's happening this afternoon here in the House is a fraud on members and a fraud on Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, a few minutes ago, Leader of Majority said that we have our in trays full. That is true. But I disagree with Honorable Mbadi, Leader of Minority, when he says that the chair of committees are not working. It is Jubilee chairs of committees who are not working. That's the truth. Mr. Speaker, what this demonstrates is lack of seriousness on the part of those who have been fighting to be chair of committees. They must develop a way of tracking pending business before them so that they can then coordinate. It means they're not even looking at order papers. Because if they're looking at order papers, they would have known that today they're supposed to be here. So this is an indictment on the Jubilee side of the House, and action must be taken. Thank you.
Member for Endabes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we need to get it very right because it's not right to condemn all the chairs. We should be very specific. When you look at the order paper is referring to the Committee on Transport. And for us to condemn all the other chairs of the other committees, I think it's a misrepresentation. Because the order number 8, when you talk of the Nairobi Metropolitan Bill, it's the transport. When we talk of the roads bill, it's the transport. So to stand there and condemn all the chairs, when we have chairs who are doing a very good job, they are hardworking, it is very wrong. When you go to number 9, there's no number 9. The statute law miscellaneous it is linking the various committees, and this is the legal. It is basically under the legal. So when they are not just 2 committees, we are talking of about 29 committees in the House. To just sample 2 is called cheating in statistics. Huh? You are cheating in statistics. You know, yes. So it is not good to wholeheartedly condemn all the chairs. Because, for instance, in my Committee of Energy, we finished our budget policy statement today, and we are wanting the ministry to appear before us. Our energy bill is before us, and we are on top of things. The petroleum bill is before us, and we are on top of things. So we don't want this issue of condemning everybody wholeheartedly for not working. So let's be very specific. Let's say this committee has challenges, and let them address their own challenges and not make Parliament look bad. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Kitui South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I would like also to join my colleagues who have spoken before me to say that there are chairs of committees who are really doing their work, and I am sure the Leader of Majority knows that we are doing our best. I know that in the 11th Parliament, we had problems with the chairs of committees being blamed, but this time, for example, in my own committee, we have been doing public participation and receiving various stakeholders to give us the information they have based on the memoranda that has been sent to the House. And the Lands Committee is working very, very hard, just as Energy is doing. So if there is a chair of a committee who has not delivered or who has not prepared himself or herself properly, or a chair who does not have a very good secretariat like the one that we have in Lands Committee, then the blame should be directed to a certain committee. So, Mr. Speaker, please protect us as chairs, because we have an image to protect. especially to our constituents. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A member of community still wants to say something on this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know there's a new practice, and I want to congratulate particularly the leader of majority, Honorable Dwale, for setting up that we should have a committee report before maybe we go for any bill at the second reading. I know in the last session we had issues we could debate without a committee report at the second reading. So I'm hoping this practice, Mr. Speaker, will be carried forward. But my question, Mr. Speaker, is we must be proactive, because it seems this act is also very fraudulent, because we know in our standing orders, it's very clear we can only debate or do business as per the order paper. So from the look of things, Mr. Speaker, then there was no point of having this afternoon session, because as per the order paper, there's nothing. So the question is, the relevant authority, which, Mr. Speaker, you chair, I was wondering why there was no supplementary order paper for us who want to be here to do business. Because it is true, the tray is very full. Why was a supplementary paper not put in place for us to do any business? Because from the look of things, we have nothing but just to adjourn. I thank you.
Honorable Amalwa, supplementary order papers are not made by the Speaker. The Speaker merely authorizes, and they must come, if you look at our standing orders, not later than 1 p.m. I must have gotten the notice so as to authorize, because again, it's not going to take members by surprise, unless it's business that members are fully aware of through some other engagements. But I wonder, I see so many interventions. Is it about this? Member for Muhaya. I hope you are not going to say you are making a maiden speech, because you can't make a maiden speech on interventions.
Thank
But
you,
I
Mr.
suspect
Speaker.
I have heard you speak in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think for me, Mr. Speaker, is quite regrettable, because this week all along, we've been coming to the House, and the leader of government business, the leader of majority, says that the chairmen are not available for us to move forward. Could the Honorable please allow me to speak so that the Speaker may get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that at this rate, the House will not operationalize. And I think it's the business of the majority leader to make sure that this House operationalizes. I'm also aware that many a times when, in the event that the House has got no business, there are other many serious businesses which concern this country, which this House should be debating or deliberating on. For instance, we have been giving out motions. I, in particular, gave out a motion which was declined by you, Mr. Speaker, that we discuss the immediate businesses of having had the media houses shut down in this country, which this country would want to listen to.
You're on a point of order. If you start digressing,
And therefore,
I'll shut you out.
before you shut me down, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that maybe we should be given space then to adjourn and discuss such a business, because there's a lot of business to be discussed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You know, you must always know when business is, proposed business is declined, it is for very, very good reasons. The Constitution must be followed. In this place where you are making your debut, there is something known as the rule of res sub judice. It is obeyed, it is followed. So when you come to propose, that's not even motion, that was just a proposal to a statement. But if you want to do a private member's motion, submit it, but know that it is, private members' motions are debated on Wednesday mornings, not on Thursdays, such as this kind of sitting. So, no, it is within my power to reject that which I determine as capable of breaching the rules that we must abide by. And I will continuously do that. I can assure you, I will faithfully discharge that duty to reject that which appears to be unconstitutional and likely to prejudice other arms of government, like the judiciary. So we don't have to we don't have to go by emotions. I know if somebody has a background of trade unionism, they believe that anything is business. No, here we don't follow those kind of procedures. Here we are governed by rules and traditions and customs, but foremost the Constitution. So the Honorable Omboko Milemba, I'm sure you are accordingly advised. So don't worry about this. It is nothing to do with is it coupet or nut or anything like that. So don't worry. And even the other thing that I may wish to remind you, Honorable Omboko Milemba, is that when you speak in this place, don't address anybody as you ought to, you. No. Your address must be through the chair, to avoid a situation whereby somebody may think that you are being personal. You enjoy the privilege of, discussing anything that is within the rules. But please, just refrain from addressing fellow members individually. That way we are able to criticize one another within the realms of the rules that govern us. Do I see still further? The member for Kimilili, you also want to say something on this?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I just want to say that as a House, we are setting a very bad precedent. It's not just about the report that we need, but we need a concrete report, a detailed report, and every member is aware that this committee was constituted a few weeks ago, and members need time to read these bills. These are very important bills. We're not just going to push the members to bring here half-baked reports that they have not done enough research, Mr. Speaker. And I think we should not blame the chairmen and members, because they need time to read these existing bills so that they'll be able to bring something that is very important that is going to guide the members into debating, and we pass quality laws for this country, Mr. Speaker. That's all I want to say, Mr. Speaker, and that we should give them time to read, do proper research, and bring quality reports for us to debate on. Just pushing them, we are setting a very bad precedent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Kajiado North.
Thank Mr. Speaker, also I wanted to say it is good for the order paper to have order by itself, because like yesterday we were expecting the first motion that is in second reading should have been the computer and cybercrime bill, which we had prepared for. So when you come and find a different order, then you are not prepared. I thought it's good the order to be predictable. For example, on Tuesday, we should have an order that we have done research on so that we can also be effective. Thank you, Speaker.
Very well, but it's also fair to point out that initially it had been planned that this afternoon there was going to be debates on the appointment of members to the Parliamentary Service Commission, and you know who has occasioned the delay. That was meant to be today's business. Even as people criticize, they must also saw such that you may have, because I do know for a fact that in house business it was expected that today was going to be the day we were going to deal with the appointment of members to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Again, the request of the leader of the minority party, which request I acceded to, that business was to be taken out of the order paper today, as the order paper was being prepared, so as to accord them an opportunity, and I think that's why they have worked out to go and try to build consensus. I don't know whether these ones who are left are still part of the team that is going to help them build consensus. I can see the Honorable Chris Wamalwa is still comfortably relaxing here. I don't know, you're not part of the team that is supposed to build a consensus. So, member for Imenti South, what do you want to say about this?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, but I thought I could have said a bit earlier, but it is okay, still in order, Honorable Speaker, to give my comments. Honorable Speaker, some members have insinuated that there is no business this afternoon, because the business on this order paper could take us actually up to 6 hours by discussing these three important bills. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is not your mistake at all, and it is not the mistake of the leader of the majority to have these bills dropped this afternoon. And I met the chairman transport committee in a certain meeting yesterday, and I remember insinuating that he is in a very busy this week. I think it's now I'm remembering maybe he's trying to come up with this important report so that he can be able to table it next week. Maybe the time did not caught up with him before he was ready. And then that is why these two bills are here this afternoon. Honorable Speaker, even our new kind in the block, the Committee on Special Funds, Accounts Committee, which, Honorable Speaker, I thank you for your brainchild to have this, that committee in this 12th Parliament. Also, Honorable Speaker, most of the members does not know the work of Special Funds Accounts Committee. And I want to inform them that actually from next week, we have a backlog of CDF audited accounts which have not been checked by either by PAC from the year 2013. Most of the members were around from the year 2013, 2014, 2015. And from next week, my committee, which I chair, Honorable Speaker, will start looking into these audited reports, and maybe those will be summoning their fund managers. Those will be willing to attend the sessions. We really welcome them so that also they can know how their constituencies are faring, but they should know that we are not targeting the members of Parliament because they are not the accounting officers. But then whoever will be interested to attend those sessions from next week, we shall.
It may well be that as you say, that they may be working, they may be busy working. I'm also aware of course, other situations that the liaison committee is supposed to be holding their induction workshop tomorrow. I don't know which chairs may have left Nairobi in the course of today, because I don't deal with that. But I think the Honorable Kosing has arrived. The Honorable Kosing, you have caused a lot of furor in the House. Lest you be condemned and hurt. Please take to the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope I didn't cause a lot of uproar like I was looking for people's cows, you know. Nobody here with the cows here, Speaker, you know where we can find cows. But more important, Speaker, Committee on Transport and Public Works and Housing, we are almost ready, Mr. Speaker, on the roads bill particularly, not on the other one. And we have been doing a lot of work. I would like to report to this House, Mr. Speaker, that my committee has been very busy. In fact, even this afternoon I was doing some logistics because we are retreating today to consider the public views from the public participation. And I'm very certain, Mr. Speaker, by Monday we will be very ready with the roads bill. Of course, you know, our leader, the leader of our party yesterday told us this should be considered as one of the very important bills, and we are up to the task, Mr. Speaker. We've done a lot. We've compiled the report. We even had the first historic opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to agree with governors. They appeared before my committee for the first time in history of this country, that governors can appear to a committee of National Assembly through their chair of infrastructure. And we had a lot of good interaction, Mr. Speaker. I think this country this time will be very different, and we'll bring here a very good bill, consolidated, well thought, and well written, Mr. Speaker. So I would like to ask the indulgence of the House. And of course, Speaker, you know, let me say this so that nobody misunderstands my very able committee. That, of course, we are not told that we were coming, our bill was coming today, Speaker. I agree with you what you said earlier, that many people knew we were coming to discuss about Parliamentary Service Commission and others. But however, we should be ready at any time, and I want to assure the House and you, Mr. Speaker, we will not let the House and the people of Kenya, we will be ready for the roads bill from Monday next week, Mr. Speaker. I thank you. This is a serious committee. Thank you, Speaker.
Are you giving an assurance that even the report will be ready?
We are going to conclude the report on Saturday evening. So Monday, I'm sure the report will be ready. Thank you, Speaker.
Very well, very well. That is a good update. So there is no need to condemn the Honorable Kosing. So these are the members who want to have indicated interventions. Honorable Amalwa. Give him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Posing for that info, but it seems Honorable Posing was not brought to speed to know that the two bills, even the one of Nairobi Metropolitan, falls under your committee. And these are very critical bills, Mr. Speaker, because we have opinion that it might be unconstitutional, particularly interfering with the counties. So really, you need to invite the respective counties, particularly Nairobi County, which I'm sure will have a lot of interest pertaining this particular bill, so that you bring this work to us. I was just reminding you. And again, Mr. Speaker, it's also on the issue of CDF. I think last year, somewhere in September, we passed a supplementary budget under the chairmanship of the ad hoc committee on budget under Honorable Limo. And some of the amendments we did, it actually affected the overall disbursement of CDF, whereby each constituency was made to get 101 million, and the effect, it was reduced to 86 million. And yet, honorable members from different constituencies had already submitted their proposals, and this is going to affect. So it needs to be revised. And we were told that that's why there's that delay of the disbursement of this CDF. And we know many children, Mr. Speaker, rely on this for school fees. Their bursaries have not been paid. The Treasury has not released this amount of money. We are lacking behind, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to implementation of this project. So I was really wishing maybe if Honorable Majority Leader has any info, particularly on this issue that is really affecting the members of Parliament, and how are we going to bridge from 101 million to 86 million? I know many honorable members might not be aware about this, but that was actually the implication of that supplementary budget that came in September. And that's why CDF board has revised from 101 million every constituency to 86 million. So it is something that we need to think on how we're going to compensate of that. I thank you.
But of course, the supplementary estimates merely come here as proposals. It is this House that passes them, and that indeed passed the supplementary estimates. So unless maybe Honorable Amalwa is suggesting that you have taken some aspect of his faculties to sleep, so you can only blame yourself. As for me, I only present what you pass. So you passed that, but I think your message is received by both the leader of the majority party and I think also the chair of the CDF committee. But leader of majority, you want to say something on that?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, number one, the Nairobi Metropolitan Bill is constitutional. There is no bill that is published without the Speaker putting his signature to. So, Honorable Amalwa, you just need to go read that bill and then enrich it. Take the opportunity as provided in law of legislative powers given to you. On CDF, Mr. Speaker, you said it very well. There will be a supplementary estimates too coming to the House. So through the budget committee and the members, the 290 members, you can correct that mistake which was done. So the powers are with you. It's not with the Speaker, it's with us. So I'm sure the chair of budget is hearing that when the supplementary estimate 2 is availed, then we correct it. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, now money is availed in the CDF board, but members, majority have not submitted their projects. There's no way the board can disperse money to you. Then when we come to the committee of the whole house, then we agree. We can disagree with the government, we can disagree with the stakeholders, and even we have the powers to change the title of the bill. So Honorable Wamalwa, you also have the powers to change the title of the Nairobi Metropolitan Bill. In fact, you can call it Nairobi County Bill, you know, if you feel like. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we're doing very well, and of course, as you said, tomorrow we have the liaison meeting. So all those issues of our chairs and how reports and how the timelines, we will discuss it in tomorrow's retreat. And I'm sure when we come back, we are doing all this to make sure that those who will come after us, the 13th Parliament, the 14th Parliament, will pick from the best of the best. But we will not allow, you know, us as legislators to reduce. And I really want also the minority side to speed on the consensus on the irreducible minimums. You know, Mr. Speaker, I used to be in ODM many years. The word irreducible minimum is only in the opposition. So please try to reduce the irreducibles between now and Monday, so that, you know, come on Tuesday, we give the Speaker, as the chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission, to work with the people who have the mandate. Now the Speaker is working with some of the people who have lost elections and their commissioners, and he cannot tell them to go away. So we, as the 12th Parliament, we need to move faster. Now it's about 8 months. We elect the men and women who will represent us in the Parliamentary Service Commission in the 12th Parliament, and we have a lot of pending issues concerning our welfare. Yeah, so those welfare issues cannot be dealt with if the Speaker has no members who have a fresh mandate. So, Honorable Chris, you are the only leader now, leadership from the other side. Please look for your principals and their deputies and their rank and file members. Try to reduce the reducibles. Let us agree on three people or 2 of the 8th agenda, and we close this chapter the way we closed the chapter of the cabinet secretaries yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, when you want to say, and
I just want to add what my leader has just said, and also to inform Honorable Chris that what you have mentioned, what we have discovered here today, that this House actually votes against itself. That's what we serve as members of our House Commission. We make our budget. This House comes and reduces it without knowing. Yes. The same way you have done with our CDF. Yes. Let us wait for the supplementary budget. When it comes here, we restore back to our money to our accounts. Thank you.
Well, honorable members, you know, the Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi will always drive his point home by banging the table. Well, because I think, you know, he comes from a different school. But, honorable members, there be no other business of the House to transact. And the time being 24 minutes past 3. The House stands adjourned till Tuesday, 20th of February, 2018 at 2:30 p.m.